The Marvel vs. Capcom series of games is definitely one of, if not the greatest fighting game franchises out there. It can't be doubted that almost every game in the franchise was a banger, you know? Children of the Atom, Marvel Heroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. God tier, incredibly fun games that only got better with each release. But especially Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which was the hypest shit in all the fighting games.
Never over till it's over. Never over till it's over. This is Marvel, baby. You can have a full team losing in a second. Looks like it's turning to a real match. We just got a real match. We just got a real match. Let's go!
And Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which maintained that level of hype for a whole new generation of fighting game players.
It's at the start. Here comes Phoenix. Oh yeah? That was awesome. So we have level 3 Frank in the building. X Factor to try to get away. What's he got? Oh!
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is also my favorite fighting game of all time. Shame they never released a sequel to Marvel vs. Capcom 3 though. But did you know, dear viewers, that there was another Marvel fighting game? One based around Marvel, that even had assists as well? One that predates X-Men vs. Street Fighter by a whole year. You've most likely never heard of it, since this game in particular never managed to escape its arcade-only status. Just like Revenge of Death Adder. And also like that game, managed to finally escape its arcade-only status via an arcade 1-up cabinet in 2021. Man, if I had a nickel for every time this had happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but I mean, it's kind of weird it's happened twice now, right? The game I speak of is
Marvel Comics Avengers in Galactic Storm!
Released to arcades in Japan in 1995 and in North America in 1996. Developed by Data East, Galactic Storm is one of the last fighting games that company ever developed before their later bankruptcy in 2003. Galactic Storm is based on the comic book arc of the same name that was released between March and May of 1992. Since they share the same story, essentially, let me break that down for you real quick. The gist of it is, the Avengers are forced to intervene in a conflict between the Kree and Shi'ar empires after a warp gate being used by the warring factions is rapidly destabilizing the Earth's sun. Galactic Storm the game, though, gives you 2 modes of play, story mode and versus mode. Of course, this is a fighting game after all. Beginning the story mode, of course, you're given a choice to play as all of your favorite Avengers. Captain America, the Black Knight, Crystal, Thunderstrike. Okay, kinda weird choices, but hey, at least you'll be doing battle with some incredibly iconic villains, like Korath Thak, Dr. Minerva, Shatterax, Supremor, and Galen Core. Quite the oddball cast of people, truth be told. Looking at the heroes involved with the comics, I feel like better choices could have been made here, but I'm also looking through the lens of my own personal bias. That and well, they were probably trying to push these characters as the big new thing at the time or something like that. So yeah, you're gonna get some weirdos. After picking your hero though, you'll get to select your assist. Thankfully, the faces here, even with the villains, are a shade more recognizable. Iron Man, Thor, Vision, and Giant Man for the Avengers, with Atlas, Sentry, Ronan, and Ultimus for the Kree. A story mode starts and okay, let's get the obvious talk out of the way first here. Graphics. If I had to describe the visuals of Avengers in Galactic Storm, it'd be action figure level characters with incredibly flat and boring backgrounds. This quality extends to the attack animations as well, with incredibly stiff looking normals and special attacks too. They are brutally stiff. It's like it's a NetherRealm Studios game or something. I guess to make the comparison more towards a video game, Galactic Storm is like a very, very unrefined Killer Instinct when it comes to its looks. Back to story mode, it's very rudimentarily told through dialogue boxes over character models. Incredibly dynamic, clearly. You go here, and this cable wannabe says you have to die for your insolence. What insolence? Don't know. Beat him up and take a ship to Outpost S1K Sigma after he blows this weird lab up. You fight Shatterax there, and he asks if you honestly thought your pitiful plan would succeed. What plan? I have no idea. Beat him up, and then uh-oh, you're captured by Kree warriors and taken to their homeworld to face judgment. Thankfully, on arrival there, Iron Man shows up and absolutely blasts them all to death. You try to escape, but you're headed off by Korath Thak, and you'll have to fight him first before you can escape. You escape to the Shi'ar homeworld in a desperate attempt to stave off an assassination attempt of the Empress Lilandra. You intercept and beat down the would-be assassin, Violet Parr in this case. In a rage, Lilandra blows up the Kree homeworld. I think at least. And you head there, boarding a space station, only to have Supremor sicked on you by a sentient potato. Kill them, fly back to Earth for some rest, but get attacked by the final boss version of Galen Core. Beat him down and he promptly dies. You're given a sequence of victorious images of all the Avengers, and the game is finished. Just kidding, you're promptly tossed into an arcade ladder where you have to fight not just the Kree, but your fellow Avengers, too. The final boss is Galactic once again, and upon his death, you're given another ending of static images of your chosen character, and the game finally actually does end. Well, now that the boring stuff is out of the way, let's get to the technical side of things here. Galactic Storm is a 4-button fighter. 2 punches, 2 kicks, lights and heavies for both. Characters also have command normals to help diversify their movesets, on top of special moves done with quarter circles and SRK motions. This meter beneath your health bar is your power meter. 1 bar lets you call your assistant, and 2 lets you perform a super move. Your super moves are... okay, I guess, but assists in this game are pretty busted, truth be told. I don't even consider myself a Captain America main in this game. I consider myself a Vision assist main, because that carried my ass more than anything else. All the assists are unique, of course. Iron Man does Unibeam, Thor covers the screen in lightning, Giant Man gives you a good old squeezing, but Vision's assist is a tracking uppercut that launches your opponent, meaning a free combo if it hits, and you're in a position to follow up. Assists are also completely unstoppable and can be called almost any time. Yeah, that's pretty strong. Honestly, don't even bother hoarding meter to do your super, always use it on the assists. Try to visualize this a bit better. As I played Captain America, I realized I could combo 3 charging stars that could do upwards of 50% damage total. This could be done off a Vision assist. Damage is wilding out in this fucking game, that's for sure. Even something as a basic jab 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 or short 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 combo did good damage though. It's like it's an old fighting game or something. Hell, Cap has a command normal where he hops on top of his shield. It hits twice and does a truckload of damage. It's unsafe as fuck, but I mean Vision assist, lol. Not to mention, it's not like the AI is great at punishing you, so feel free to just throw it out like I did. Some specials have incredibly long active frames too, like this throw from Supremor. It's active that entire animation. Don't press a button. Shatter Axe's body energy projection lasts forever too. Once again, do not press a button. Though to complain, the hitbox on charging star is god-awful. Usually the charge would have a little forward hitbox, but it's 100% on the shield itself. Play your neutral well here, kids, or you'll charge just short of actually hitting your opponent like I did. Throws also seemed really finicky. I only ever did them on accident, truth be told. It's the same system as Street Fighter 2 for reference, just doing a heavy punch or a heavy kick close to your opponent should perform the throw, but anytime I tried, and I mean really tried, I could never get it to work consistently. Outside of those complaints though, I actually had some fun playing this game, and in spite of its awkward looks, it's a pretty competent little fighting game. I know that sounds surprising to say after all the shit talk, but really, it's pretty fun. I know it won't sound like glowing praise or anything, but Avengers in Galactic Storm is a functional, pretty enjoyable fighting game to play. It's nowhere near the best in its class, but it felt okay at least. Shit, that makes it better than most of the games on my list so far. The models are plastic, the backgrounds are interesting at times, if a bit flat and boring, and the normals are stiffer than me in middle school. I'm gonna criticize the roster as well, but just because I don't know 90% of these characters doesn't mean they aren't popular. Maybe they were popular at the time, or maybe they were supposed to be a part of a greater push for this certain subset of characters. Same thing happened in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I didn't know who Nova and Rocket Raccoon were after all. When it comes to ranking this game, I'm actually kind of conflicted. This might be the first genuinely difficult placement on this list, as it bloats out quite a bit. Galactic Storm is ugly, its roster is meh, and its sounds are a little weak to be honest.
Five! Gotcha! Vision!
But it was pretty fun, like a prototype Marvel vs. Capcom almost. I think I can honestly place this game at number 4 on the list. Galactic Storm is miles ahead of the bottom tier games on this list. Fact. And I'd say it's better than the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fighting game since it actually has functioning combos and it feels like a real genuine fighting game because of it. And I'd say it just barely edges ahead of TMNT Tournament Fighters for Genesis by virtue of being way more fun to play around with. The delta between Galactic Storm and the top tier games on the list is still pretty huge though, so don't get it twisted or anything. But yeah, that's one more down on the search for the worst fighting game. Honestly, Galactic Storm wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. As always though, I'm Hades Manticore. This is City State Manticore, and this was yet another in the search for the worst fighting game. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you want more content from me. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.